Of encouragement?
Yes. No, once a minute.
So the yoga is coming up there. Absolutely. Yeah, and then you're wasting time. This is
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Haribo, Gora Haribo. Gora Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo. Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Crown of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada ki, Vaishnava ki, Namacharya Sri Hastako ki, Francisco Sri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Adityananda Sri Vasudeva Bhaktivinoda ki, Krishna Krishna Shyamakanda ki, Govardhana ki, Sri Govardhana Ganga Devi, Mani Tulsi Devi, Bhakti Devi. Harinam, Sankirtan, Transcendental Distribution Key, Shamaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki, Jai Guru Premanand. Oh, glorious is Him. Oh, glorious is Him. Oh, glorious is Him. So glorious is Him. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivada Dari Jaya Girivada Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivada Dari Jai Girivada Dari Yasudanandana Jai Brajadanaranjana Yasudanandana Jai Brajadanaranjana Vanachira Vanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Vanachira Vanachari Dayo Kunja Bihari Jai Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivada Jai Girivardhari. Gopi Janaba Lava Jai Girivardhari Jai Girivardhari. Jai Sodanandana Jai Vajanarandana. Gunadhira Vanachari Dayo Indradyumna Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radhe Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janabala Jai Girivardhari Jai Girivardhari. Gopi Janabala Jai Girivardhari Girivardhari. Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. So, dear Prabhus, good morning. Hare Krishna. This morning we're reading from where you left off the other day, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 28, verse 17. I think to save time, if you forgive me, I'll just chant the Sanskrit here, and then we'll move on. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Apicha Darshanam Shashvat Sarvaloka Namaskaritam Shantam Vayasi Kaishore Brityanugra Kartanam. Translation: the Lord is eternally very beautiful. He is worshipable by all the inhabitants of every planet. He is ever youthful and always eager to bestow his blessings upon his devotees. It's a sweet verse. Please repeat. The Lord is eternally very beautiful. And he is worshipable by all the inhabitants of every planet. He is very youthful and always eager to bestow his blessings upon his devotees. So assuring in these times of difficulty. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The word Sarvaloka Namaskritam means that he, Krishna, is worshipable by everyone on every planet. There are innumerable planets in the material world and innumerable planets in the spiritual world as well. And on each planet there are innumerable inhabitants who worship the Lord. For the Lord is worshipable by all but the impersonalists. The Supreme Lord is very beautiful. The word Shashvat is significant. It is not that he appears beautiful to the devotees, but is ultimately impersonal. Shashvat means ever existing. That beauty is not temporary. It is ever existing. He is always youthful. In the Brahma Samhita it is stated, Advaitam Achutam Anadim Ananto Rupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Nava Yovana Cha. He is one without a second, yet although he is the original person, he never appears old. He always appears as an ever-fresh, blooming youth. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for enlightening us in the beauty of the Lord. Om Agyan Timadandasya Gyanangana Shalakaya Chaksun Miritam Janatasmaya Si Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Janabhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadanti Sva Padanti Kamam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So in this verse today, we hear of the extraordinary beauty of Lord Krishna. This is the word ordinary, and you put the extraordinary before, becomes even more significant. The extraordinary beauty of our Lord Krishna. One time in Geneva, we were sitting in class with Prabhupada, and he kind of paused for a moment, then he said, "Here's Krishna, take him." Like, oh wow, here's Krishna, take him. In all his beauty and all his wonder. Of course, this beauty, which is the subject matter of today's verse, it's one of the, distinguishing features which qualify Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Parashara Muni, in order to be called Bhagavan, another name for the Supreme Lord, one must possess 6 particular features in full. Nowadays, I remember we were listening to Prabhupada in Bombay, and he was talking about false incarnations, and he said, nowadays there's a false incarnation of God in every street corner of Bombay. People imitating. But if you want to be called Bhagavan, you never will, but Bhagavan is unique in that he has 6 features. This is discussed actually in the Vishnu Purana. This is where Prabhupada got that statement in the Vishnu Purana. Aishvaryasya Shamagharsya Viryasya Yashasha Shuya Jnana Vairagya Yoshchaiva Sannam Bhaga Itim Gana. This is meaning, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is thus defined by Parashara Muni as one who is full in 6 opulences, who has full strength, full fame, full wealth, full knowledge, full beauty, full renunciation. In our study of the scriptures, we see there's many great personalities, and they may have, one of these qualifications. They may be full of strength, but they don't have fame. They may be wealthy, but they don't have knowledge. They may be beautiful, but they don't have renunciation. So the saints and the sages and the rishis and the yogis, by careful examination, have determined that Krishna alone meets those requirements. And that's one reason that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave these 6 Goswamis 3 principal instructions to go to Vrindavan and discover the lost places of Krishna's pastimes, to establish deities, and write books on the science of Krishna consciousness. And in writing books on the science of Krishna consciousness, he said specifically, go through these Vedic scriptures and show, verse by verse, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He wanted to establish that, the particular instruction. Go through these scriptures and show that Krishna's Bhagavan, he has all these 6 opulences. And Krishna, well, of course, today we're just focusing on the beauty. I guess someone could give a seminar, a 6-day seminar on each of these qualifications. Flesh it out, as we say in English. So Krishna's the most beautiful. And how beautiful is Krishna? Well, I was thinking he's so beautiful that no one can actually describe just how beautiful he is. That's how beautiful he is. And that's an expression people use sometimes when they're trying to describe something. They say, words fail me, or words fail to describe, a particular subject. It's an expression in English. You're trying to describe something that's indescribable, and you just have to admit, words fail me. Words fail me. But in Krishna consciousness, the words don't fail us, because we have the Supreme Personality of Godhead, described by great devotees. But still, it's difficult. I was reading the other day, Gadadhar Bhatt Goswami. He was a renowned
disciple of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis, he wrote in this connection, Rak prati gadadhar ye khashe, varne vo amit or ide bhuri dhori. How can anybody explain Krishna's unlimited beauty with the limited knowledge of their mind? His beauty is unlimited, but how can we appreciate it? Because, well, our senses are very limited. And Lord Brahma says something similar in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 14, verse 7. A very famous statement by Brahma. My dear Lord, the inconceivable qualities, beauties, and activities which you have revealed by your presence on this planet cannot be calculated by material measurement. Even if one tries to imagine that Krishna may be like this, Krishna may be like that, Brahma says, it's impossible. The day may come, he says, when the material scientist, after many, many births, or after many, many years, will be able to estimate the atomic constitution of the whole world, or he may be able to count the atomic fragments that permeate the sky, or he may even give an estimate of all the atoms within the universe, but still he will not be able to ever count the transcendental qualities of your reservoir of transcendental bliss. So Krishna's beauty is unlimited, and it's just impossible to describe even by Anantashesha. As Anantashesha, one of his services is every moment he's saying a new name of Krishna. Unlimited, since time immemorial. And he hasn't reached the limit of Krishna's extraordinary qualities, especially the beauty. Nevertheless, we have to try to understand Krishna's beauty. Because how can you ever love someone you know nothing about? With all due respect to the other spiritual traditions, it's only in Vedic tradition that we actually have a detailed description of God. Many times in my travels, I'll ask people, with all due respect, can you tell me something about God? Yeah, he's up there. Okay. And if you're bad, you go down there. I said, okay, anything else about God? He's God. And Jesus is his son. And Hare Krishna, we accept that. We accept that. But the goal of religion means to reawaken our love in full for that Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Latin verb reglio means to connect. So religion, which has that verb, means to reconnect with our lover, our divine lover. But without knowing about the personality of Godhead, how can you love him? I many times give the example, you chose your wife or you chose your husband because of the way they look, the way they talk, the way they walk, their business, or you had the same interest in music or food, like this. Love is in the details, they say. So we're so fortunate in our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition that we have so many details, we can't even read them all in one lifetime, glorify them in one time about our beautiful Krishna. One time Prabhupada said in London, we even know God's phone number. Now, another unique feature of Krishna is that he's more beautiful than his expansions. Te chamsa kalo pumsha Krishna tu bhagavan shvayam. It's mentioned in the first part of the Bhagavatam that all the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions, but Krishna is tu bhagavan swayam. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. So all these expansions, it seems contradictory, all these expansions are non-different than him, but he's the most beautiful. He's the most beautiful. Like one of his principal expansions, who's the Lord of Vaikuntha, Om Namo Narayanaya Namaha. If you go to North India, you'll hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Or Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Patit Pavan Sita Ram, or Gaurnitai. But if you go to the greater part of Dravida Desh, the South India, it's Om Narayanaya Namaha, Om Narayanaya Namaha, Om Narayanaya Namaha. And we're very close to that because Narayan, the best amongst all male personalities in all the temples. Krishna's very big. You go to Sri Rangam, and the deity's practically as long as the side of that wall there. And you have 3 darshans. You get the darshan of the head, the middle waist, and then the lotus feet where Lakshmi's massaging his feet. Om Narayanaya Namaha. And he's Lord of Vaikuntha. And in Vaikuntha there's unlimited planets. And the Lord is present there in different expansions as Lord Narayan, as Matsya, as Kurma, like this. And this Prabhupada calls it the official kingdom of God. This is worshiping God in His greatness. God is very great and we are very small. So that Lord of Vaikuntha, in South India they worship this feature of Krishna, one of his first expansions. Nevertheless, our nectar of devotion by Sri Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada, notes that there are 4 transcendental qualities that distinguish Krishna from Narayan. Prabhupada liked competition. He would encourage competition on the streets with books because it just fired everybody up. So there's a competition between Krishna and Narayan. They're 4 in number. Would you like to hear what the 4 are? How Krishna's our Krishna. Here's Krishna, take him. How our Krishna is different than his expansion, Narayan. The first is called Lila Madhuri. This is a description. It's given in Nectar Devotion, but it's also given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And I chose his way of expressing these 4 different features of Krishna that are different or make him superior to Narayan. So Lila Madhuri. Thakur says, he's an ocean of astonishing pastimes out of which Rasa Lila is supremely captivating. You can repeat. He's an ocean of astonishing pastimes out of which Rasa Lila is supremely captivating. So poetic. There's that verse, what is the use of a bowman's arrow unless it penetrates the heart of his opponent? And what is the use of poetry unless it causes the head to spin in ecstasy? Or Vaishnava poets. He's an ocean of astonishing pastimes out of which Rasa Lila is supremely captivating. Okay. Number 2, Prem Madhuri. He's always surrounded by devotees who possess incomparable Madhurya Prem, which develops up to the stage of Mahabhava. This is pretty deep, but this is our Krishna. Please repeat. He is surrounded by devotees who possess incomparable Madhura Prema, which develops up to the stage of Mahabhava. Number 3, Venu Madhuri. The sweet and mellow sound of his flute attracts the minds of everyone within the 3 worlds. Please repeat. The sweet and mellow sound of his Vamsi attracts the minds of everyone within the 3 worlds. And the 4th quality is particularly relevant to today's talk. It's Rupa Madhuri. This would be a beautiful name, isn't it, for some student? Your name is Rupa Madhuri Dasi. Rupa Madhuri means his extraordinary beauty astonishes all moving and non-moving entities. This is the subject today. Please repeat. His extraordinary beauty astonishes all moving and non-moving entities. How can we prove it? Please look to your right. Look to your right. Who do you see on the altar? Krishna. Radharani, Krishna Balaram, Gaurnitai. His extraordinary beauty astonishes all of you, moving and non-moving living entities. Sometimes, I remember when I first brought my mother to the temple, and the deities of Radha Krishna were there, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra in the Berkeley Temple. First time she ever entered. She looked at the altar, she said, "Oh, they're all so beautiful." They're all so beautiful. So even in that stage, one can appreciate it. Especially, we see how beautifully you dress the deities here. It's amazing. Look at Gauri Thai. They're just jumping out of Navadvip. Radha and Krishna and Gokul and Krishna Balaram herding the cows somewhere. This is samskaras. These are impressions that make a deep influence in our hearts. And hopefully when we leave these mortal frames, one of these pictures will appear in our mind, or on our tongue will be chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So again, Krishna's beauty is beyond comparison. Even great demigods have a hard time understanding it. But we're fortunate that love for Krishna can be awoken by hearing from great saints and sages who through their transcendental senses have perceived the beauty of the Lord. We can't see because we have material senses, but we have a spiritual form, and that form is spiritual senses. And we can see the spiritual nature of the Lord. But until that time, we hear from our acharyas the beauty of Krishna. I was reading in the Harmonist the other day that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati once said that one cannot perceive the actual blue color of Krishna in this world. I was kind of disappointed. Because one unique feature of Krishna's beauty is that he's bluish black like a monsoon cloud. So I was always thinking, yeah, I've seen monsoon clouds, and then I read this. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, no, in the material world, this color of Krishna doesn't exist. The real color of Krishna is blue. It only exists in the spiritual world and can only be seen by the residents there. I got a little disappointed. I have to wait until all my spiritual senses are awoken to. But still, we have the forms of the Lord, and He's blue and white and golden, and that helps. But we should hanker for that day when our spiritual senses are fully awoken and we can see Krishna, as we say in French, tel qu'il est, as He is. But we get clues. We get clues of Krishna's extraordinary beauty from devotees who come from the spiritual world and share that information with us. Like many of you have never been to America, you've never been to San Francisco. Yeah, how are you going to find out? I can tell you. I was born there, born and raised, Market Street and all the cable cars and the Golden Gate Bridge and everything I can tell you. So we're very fortunate that souls come from the spiritual world specifically to teach us these beautiful qualities of Krishna. Gaur Govinda Maharaj said 2 types of Nityasiddhas come from the spiritual world here to enlighten us. He said one is that devotee who just out of compassion decides to come and start preaching. I was amazed that means that in the spiritual world they're conscious of us here in the material world. And why not? Because their Lord is also conscious of us here in the material world. So He comes once in a day of Brahma to enlighten us. So His devotees, like father, like son, some of them must be aware and they come. And the second type of personality who comes from the spiritual world is chosen by Krishna to continue Krishna's business in this world, to deliver the pious, annihilate the miscreants, and reestablish the principles of religion. And one such personality is our beloved Srila Prabhupada. One devotee who was Prabhupada's secretary, he told me one time that Prabhupada was in an infirmary in Mumbai because Prabhupada had arrived from Africa, from Kenya, to come back into India, but there's yellow fever, yellow fever in Africa. So in order to go into Africa, especially that time, one had to get a yellow fever vaccination. So before Prabhupada came to the West, he went to a medical facility in Kolkata, and he got the yellow fever vaccination. And he had the card. It's a yellow card. I also have one because I go to Africa. And Prabhupada would always carry that vaccination certificate with him. And when he was in Africa, he gave it to a servant to carry for him, and the servant lost it. So when Prabhupada arrived in Bombay, you have immigration, you show your passport, then you have to go through a health inspection. Sir, where's your yellow fever vaccination certificate? My servant, and the servant practically fainted. Prabhupada, I don't have it. Where is it? Oh no, I lost it. So they put Prabhupada in, what is that called? You have to wait for quarantine for 2 weeks. Prabhupada accepted. The secretary said all day long Prabhupada would chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Much needed a break. Never took a break, Prabhupada. Then one day he was sitting and the secretary came and Prabhupada said, I did not want to come to this nasty place. The servant started crying. I'm sorry, Prabhupada. I did not want to come to this nasty place. Oh, I'm sorry, Prabhupada. No, Prabhupada said, no, not here. I did not want to come to this nasty world, this material world. But Krishna asked me to come. I was enthralled when the secretary was sharing this with me. These little intimate glimpses into the life of a pure devotee. Any nectar, 1 second, anything, just tell us more about Prabhupada. His pastimes there and his pastimes here and his ongoing pastimes, wherever they are, we want to join him. I did not want to come to this nasty place. Oh, I'm sorry, Prabhupada. No, Prabhupada said, I'm not meaning here. I did not want to come to this nasty world, but Krishna asked me to come. He came and he said to me, please go to the material world, go to the earth planet, and preach Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said, it's almost humorous now, he said, I told Krishna I wasn't inclined because I'm not inclined towards austerities. And Krishna consciousness is chanting, dancing, feasting, glorifying the Lord. But Prabhupada said, Krishna told me, no, you go down and you write books on the science of Krishna consciousness, I'll arrange everything else. And the rest is history, like this. So there are personalities who come. This is God's grace. Anytime you could say in the history of the human race, there's personalities who come and they reveal as much about the spiritual world as the people at that time can understand. But the amazing thing is in Kali Yuga, people have no ability to understand these things. But Lord is so kind that Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanga, Radha and Krishna combined together to come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and give us all the details of the spiritual world, which can be understood through chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we get clues. It's enough, just like if you want to understand the ocean. You don't have to drink the whole ocean, you take a drop. Oh, it's salty. Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. The sailors would say. They were thirsty, they couldn't drink. So we just need a drop of the spiritual world. And those drops of the spiritual world come from the mouths of these great devotees who come from the spiritual world. So we should be all ears when we hear from them. Just like one such devotee I came across in my studies is Vamsidhara Das. He was a devotee poet from Orissa. And he wrote about this Rupa Madhuri, this extraordinary beauty of Krishna that astonishes all moving and non-moving entities. Listen to this poem of his and see if it doesn't help awaken a little spiritual emotion in your heart. Even as aspiring devotees, we get these tastes. Otherwise, how are we going on? Spiritual life has to be more blissful than spiritual life. Otherwise, how are we going to give up material life? So we get these little drops of nectar. And this devotee, pure devotee, he wrote this beautiful poem. It's actually Srimati Radharani speaking to one of her girlfriends. Oh, maiden of Braj, look at that dark, handsome boy, decorated with the dust of Braj. His beauty is matchless. His beauty is vidyut. Vidyut in Sanskrit means like current. So his beauty is the current of Saraswati's Veena. His beauty is like the dancing of Natara Shiva. His beauty is like the sounds of the dancing anklets of Ramba. Ramba is a demigoddess from Shvarga. His beauty is like the sun and moon meeting in one place. What? The sun and moon meeting in one place. We've heard that before. Kaviraj Goswami describes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Gaur Nitai appeared simultaneously like the sun and the moon on the horizon of Goda, Bengal. This is poetry. Why hear anything else? His beauty is like the sun and the moon meeting in one place. Vamsidhara praises Krishna's beauty, from which all other beauty has appeared. So therein we hear the author comparing Krishna's beauty to things in this world. But many scholars say that although we sometimes compare Krishna's beauty to such things, nothing can actually equal the original beauty of Krishna. So we could sit here. I mean, this is probably one of the most beautiful parts of the world, the Gold Coast or wherever we are here, Mawulamba. But we don't actually go on hikes for many hours a day like people do and have picnics. We do, but we would be just as content to sit here and gaze upon the original beauty of all, Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani. We can sit for hours in front of our deities. We don't become restless because we're so fortunate by Prabhupada's grace to see what is most beautiful. Now, another interesting thing about beauty is the Acharyas, they say that what to speak of Krishna's form, even his shadow or reflection is all attractive. We often say, what does Krishna mean? It means the all-attractive Supreme Personality of God. So all. And Acharyas say all means even his shadow, even his reflection is attractive. If you see someone's shadow, this is not or the reflection in the pond. The reflection in the pond may look like the person, but the reflection can never compare to the original object. Like you see the sun or the moon in the lake. It's so beautiful, mommy. Look, son. Om Tat Vishnu Parapam Param Param Yas. Always keep our attention, Rig Veda says, to the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. So what to speak of Krishna's form, the Acharyas say? His reflection is all attractive. No one's a reflection is attractive necessarily in this world. Of course, we do like to look at ourselves in the mirror. I was watching the other day. I had to take an elevator up and down, distributing some things the other day. And people would come in, and the first thing when they come in the elevator, whenever you walk by a mirror, but our reflection does. But Krishna's reflection is absolute. In chapter 22 of Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada writes, in Rupa Goswami's Lalita Madhava it is said, one day Krishna happened to see the shadow, or reflection, of his beautiful form reflected on the jeweled foreground. In India, in the old days, the spiritual world, the jewels are there. They're they don't need sunlight, moonlight, electricity. The jewels are self-illuminating, and everything's, lit up by the jewels in the spiritual world. That's from Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna happened to see the shadow or the reflection of his form in the jeweled ground. And Prabhupada writes, upon seeing this bodily reflection, Krishna expressed his feelings. Wow. We get to know the heart of the Lord. Krishna said, how wonderful it is that I have never seen such a beautiful form. Although it is my own form, still like Radharani, I am trying to embrace this form and enjoy heavenly bliss. Wow. Krishna. And Prabhupada comments, This statement shows how Krishna and his shadow reflection are one and the same. There's no difference between Krishna and his shadow reflection, nor between Krishna and his picture. That is the transcendental position of Krishna. I noted that. There's no difference between Krishna and his picture. We sometimes think the picture is not exactly like the deity. No. Prabhupada said, the picture of Krishna is non-different. And that brought to mind, when I first got to France in 1971, I was just a 19-year-old boy, and Prabhupada was coming to France for the first time. And we had this little temple outside the city in Fontenay-aux-Roses. I still remember the name, Fontenay-aux-Roses. And it was very simple. We had a painting, more like a drawing of Panchatattva. And with all respect to the girl who painted it, they were kind of like stick figures. I mean, like, I've seen children do better than that these days. A little more developed, not stick figures, but very simple. And then Prabhupada came in. Prabhupada's coming in the temple, and we were so proud. We'd washed it, and balloons everywhere, and came in, and it was kind of a makeshift altar because we didn't have money. We had some boxes and some glue and ticky-tack, keeping it together. And when Prabhupada walked in, wow, Hare Krishna. She's coming to class, that's wonderful. She knows where she's going. Where's she going to end up? Oh, mommy. That's how we want to go back to the spiritual world, just fall into the hands of Krishna. So Papa came in, and that altar collapsed. And everyone broke down. It collapsed. So Prabhupada stood and he waited. And then, the pujaris came and put it back together and put that simple painting on the altar. And Prabhupada looked at it and he started praying. I could hear him say, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasa. Oh. And then he did full dandavats to the stick figures. I was thinking, what am I seeing and what is he seeing? He saw in that painting the Panchatattva, as he would do obeisances to our deities here. We were on a plane one time with Prabhupada going from New York to London, and I was sitting next to Srila Prabhupada, and the movie came on. They dimmed the lights, and you had to pull the shades down, and the movie came on, and I took out a Bhagavad Gita. Dehi nosmin. Prabhupada sitting right next to me. I wanted to impress him. I don't watch movies, so out loud, Dehi nosmin yata dehe komanam yovanam jara tata. And then, I looked at Prabhupada, and he's watching the movie. I put my Bhagavad Gita away. And then, but it was Charlie Chaplin. When Prabhupada was young, he would see these silent movies with Charlie Chaplin. Simple humor, fun humor. So afterwards I said, Prabhupada, we weren't supposed to watch movies. He said, no. He said, this is Charlie Chaplin, and his humor is original. So Krishna is the origin of all original things. So I was seeing Krishna in the movie. What were you seeing? Like that. Dehi nosmin yata. So beauty's in the eye of the person who sees. So, Prabhupada saw in that simple painting the Panchatattva, and he paid full obeisances. So again, Rupa Madhuri, this is the essence of the four qualities. Well, they're all essential, but we're speaking about the beauty today. Rupa Madhuri means his extraordinary beauty astonishes all moving and non-moving entities. So the acharyas say that the word Rupa in Rupa Madhuri, Rupa means this refers to the original form of Krishna. His expansions, we worship his expansions, Lord Nrsingadev, etc., but Rupa, this means the Lord's original form. And that is indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:44-14, and that verse is as follows. What austerities must the gopis have performed? For with their eyes they always drink the nectar of Lord Krishna's form, which is the essence of loveliness, which is not to be equaled or surpassed, and which is ananya shuddham, not formed by taking help of any other form. We're just trying to substantiate. This is the original form of Krishna. He's avatari, and all the other forms that come to this world, they're avatars. But he's avatari. He's the original form of the absolute truth. And that verse shows that Krishna is Rupa, his original form, and all other forms are different than his. And what does the Charya say? What is the desired effect of looking upon this form, the original form of Krishna? All our temples, you'll find a deity of Krishna. You go to South India, there's Saraswati, there's Lakshmi, there's Durga, there's various forms, and people are enthralled by these amazing forms that do amazing things, but we just like to fix our eyes on the original form of the Lord. And what's the desired effect if we sit here and we chant japa and we participate in the artiks and meditate on this form? What happens? Srimad Bhagavatam 10:29-40 says, the form of Krishna creates waves of ecstasy in various living entities, like the gopis who said, Krishna, your beauty makes all the three worlds auspicious. Indeed, even the cows, birds, trees, and deer manifest ecstatic symptoms of bodily hair standing on end when they see your beautiful form. This is the perfection of seeing. We haven't perfected our spiritual senses yet, but when our spiritual senses are perfected by seeing, what will happen? Your beauty makes all the three worlds auspicious. Indeed, even the cows, birds, trees, and deer manifest ecstatic symptoms of bodily hair standing on end when they see your beautiful form. So our Krishna consciousness, the race isn't over till it's over. And it's never over, but when we become Krishna conscious, we'll look at the Lord, oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. State of crying for Krishna. One time a newspaper reporter came to Bhubaneswar. He's brand new, just the first day on his job. He was just like a teenager, and he came to interview Gaur Govinda Maharaj, our beloved godbrother. And he asked Gaur Govinda Maharaj, could you just give me a simple statement, what is this Hare Krishna movement, so I can, give my first report, to the newspaper, something simple, Maharaj, what's the essence of this Krishna conscious movement? And I would have said something like, Atato Brahma Jignasi, human life is meant for, understanding who I am, who is God, what's the connection with God, and we start to study about what he said, Gaur Govinda Maharaj. What is this Krishna conscious movement? Crying, 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 crying. In the newspaper, he's like, should I print that? Yes. Krishna conscious movement means crying, crying, crying. So we hanker for that state. And life is short, and then you die. So Prabhupada said, if you've got time, chant Hare Krishna. Now to fully appreciate the Lord's form, because we've quoted a few poets here in Prabhupada's purport, but to fully appreciate the beauty of Krishna's form, let us see it through the eyes of his greatest devotee, Vrindavaneshwari Srimati Radharani, he. The poet Thakur Srila Vidyapati quotes Radharani as saying, she's talking to one of the Astasakis, Dear Saki, do you know what I saw? It was remarkable. When you hear it, you will feel, I must have seen a dream. It's so unreal. I saw a pair of lotuses wearing a garland of moons. Upon them stood a young tamal tree. with golden creepers entwining it. This combination was strolling on the banks of the Kalindi River. Oh, a moon arose on the top of the tree with two newly sprouting leaves. They were pink like the dawn. A couple of bimba fruits had manifested on that moon, and a parrot was perching motionless on them. It was topped with a pair of restless kunjan birds covered with a cluster of serpentines, female snakes, and crowned with a peacock feather. Very deep, by logic and reasoning we can't understand, but this is how what Radharani perceived Krishna in one instance. We could speak for hours on that verse, I think. Anyway, Prabhupada concludes all of this in his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 1:11-26. He writes, "And those who are artists, overtaken by the beautiful creation, should better see to the beautiful face of the Lord for complete satisfaction. The face of the Lord is the embodiment of beauty. What they call beautiful nature is but a smile. And what they call sweet songs of the birds are but specimens of the whispering voice of the Lord." Wow! Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to recite that again. All those who are artists overtaken by the beautiful creation. Artists, are expert in portraying or writing or painting or whatever the beauty of nature. And they're so expert, that's their DNA. They capture that and where it's not, oh wow, that's just like it is in material nature. But Prabhupada writes, all those who are artists overtaken by the beautiful creation should better see to the beautiful face of the Lord for complete satisfaction. Don't go on a hike. Come to this temple, look at the Lord. The face of the Lord is the embodiment of beauty. What they call beautiful nature is but a smile. And what they call the sweet songs of the birds, I love the birds here in Australia, but Prabhupada said, they're but specimens of the whispering voice of the Lord. This is how a devotee sees Krishna everywhere. He sees the birds. Oh, mommy, it sounds... No, my son, it's the whispering voice of the Lord. Now, finally, there's a wonderful pastime to illustrate, it's one of my favorite pastimes, just how Krishna's beauty is supreme. Param Gatim, it's the supreme. Nothing compares. Shall I tell it now or tomorrow? No, okay. You're not hungry? Or are you hungry for the katha, right? Once upon a time, Cupidon. En français, we say a Cupidon. The French is here. Cupidon means Cupid. He's the celestial deity of love, and he's also known as Kamadev. He was roaming the creation, but beware. We say in Polish, uwaga. If Cupid's around, you run the other way. He was roaming the creation, shooting arrows of lust into the hearts of all living beings. And his arrows bound everyone from the highest demigod, even down to the Indurgopa, which is the smallest living entity. He would shoot those arrows, and he created this web of lusty desires in the population of the world. And having fulfilled his duty, the Acharyas say, to inflict every being with material desires, it's a thankless task, but there's a purpose behind it. He got bored. Like Krishna says in the Gita, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is the all-devouring sinful enemy in this world. Lust means for me, love means for Krishna. So we're transforming out of the lust of this world into love of Krishna. Rupa Goswami says, as young boys are attracted to young girls, and young girls are attracted to young boys, in the same way, but in a transcendental way, in a Krishna-conscious way, my Lord, let me love you. We all have experience, of the attraction for the opposite sex. But Rupa is saying, with that same intensity, let the object of my love be you. So Cupid's business is to go around and shoot the arrows of lust into the conditioned souls. And seeing this, that Cupid was bored because everyone, to a greater or lesser degree, had been, shot by the arrow. The demigods told him, Cupid, there's in fact a person presently on this planet who had never been influenced by lust. Cupid was shocked. I've been everywhere, he said. From the highest planet down to the lowest planet. Demigod said, no. So Cupid, he was shocked. He said to the devatas, where is this person? What's his name? So the demigods said his name is Krishna. And he's dancing with young girls in Vrindavan. So Cupid couldn't believe his ears. He thought, well, tell me something about this boy. Oh, he's young, he's 10, 11, very beautiful, long black curling hair down to his shoulders. His eyes go all the way to his ears like lotuses. His nose is like the beauty of a sesame flower. His lips are red like bimba fruit. And his teeth are like rows of pearls. And like a conch shell, he has 3 lines on his neck. And he stands in a very beautiful form. Turibanga Sundar. He's curved in 3 places. He's playing Vamsi. He's playing flute, attracting all living entities. And he wears a garland of 5 flowers down to his ankles, called Vaijayanti. Okay, well, where is he? He's in Vrindavan, dancing with the girls. So Cupid thought, how is it possible that someone in the prime of youth can dance with beautiful young girls and still be untouched by lust? Cupid knows, he's well versed in this world. He's been everywhere. Like our Prabhupada, he went everywhere preaching Krishna consciousness. One time a devotee asked Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, you've circled the globe 12 times, you've been everywhere, you've seen everything. Can you give us some advice? Prabhupada said, yes, take sannyas. Not necessarily formally, but in the heart. I'm done with this place. I'm out of here. I want to go back to that world which is eternal, full of knowledge. I've had enough. That's why the hardest lessons are the ones best learned, actually, when Krishna throws that difficulty. We call out, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh my Lord, I'm drowning in this fathomless whirlpool of material existence. Oh, you who give shelter to the shelterless, please, just this one time, extend your hand to save me. So Pajavali Rupa Goswami. Oh Lord, I'm drowning in this fathomless whirlpool of material existence. Oh, you who give shelter to the shelterless, please, just this one time, extend your hand to save me. Does that mean that, like they talk about the long arm of the law that catches the criminal, the long arm of the... Does that mean Krishna reaches? No. Brahmanda Brahmatikam Bhagavanji Guru Krishna Prasad Bhai Bhakti Lat Beach. He sends Srila Prabhupada to deliver the world. This is the extension of his mercy. So Cupid's thinking, how can someone in the prime of youth dance with beautiful girls and not be untouched by lust? So determined to prove that Krishna was, under his control, under his powers, Cupid, armed with his bows and arrows, and it's described, this is really interesting, accompanied by spring, a soft breeze, a cuckoo bird, and humming bees, made his way to Vrindavan. What? Cupid's going to test Krishna. He never heard of anyone who was unaffected, so he went with the atmosphere. Like, boys and girls want to enjoy. They don't go to a prison. They go to the beach, or they go to a garden, or they go to some place where the atmosphere is such that these desires can be aroused. So Cupid, he went to Vrindavan thinking, I'll show him. He went with spring. He went with the soft breeze. he went with the cuckoo bird and humming bees and quickly made his way to Vrindavan. And he actually went particularly to a vana, means a forest called Nikunja Van. It's another nice name, Nikunja Van, where Krishna was dancing with his gopis. Of course, we know that there's no material desires in these pastimes. How could there be material desires in Krishna's loving pastimes with the gopis? They don't have material bodies. Only with the material body can you experience material desires. Satchidananda Vigraha. The Lord's form is made of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. It's not possible. And even if you take it that Krishna's enjoying with these young girls, it's okay, because he created everyone. Everything belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. There's no lust in Krishna's pastime. So Cupid was a little bewildered. This young boy dancing. And it was summer, but because Cupid had brought spring with him, Radha and Krishna immediately felt refreshed and invigorated. It's described by the Acharyas. Invigorated by the Prince of Seasons, spring. And responding to that, although it was summer, he was smart, Cupid. He brought the spring. And you can walk outside in the spring and this, and of course this is Vrindavan. Actually in Vrindavan, all 6 seasons exist simultaneously. So when Radha and Krishna feel like a winter pastime, they go to that van where it's winter. If they want a dewy season, that's one of the seasons, they go to that particular forest. If they want the summer season, all these seasons are existing, not like they go from one to the other here. Vrindavan is so amazing. All the 6 seasons are existing simultaneously. So although it was summertime, he brought he manifested the Prince of Seasons. What do they say? April showers bring May flowers. So responding to this atmosphere, Radha and Krishna, they began to sing a song in Vashanta Raga, different ragas, because these different ragas also bring forth spiritual emotions. Like we have our morning melody, Samsara Dava Nalalila Loka, like that. That mantra is meant for the morning, and then the evening, Giba Jayo Jayo Goda Chandra. And we have one mantra that's common for all times, all places, all circumstances. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. One for all. So they were singing this Vaishnava Rasa, and Cupid's pet cuckoo. I didn't know that Cupid had a cuckoo, Like Vrinda Devi, she has a parrot, right? So Cupid has a cuckoo. And the cuckoo, to make everything get going, because he had the wrong approach, but he was trying, he told the cuckoo to sing in the 5th note. And then Cupid sent his special bees. He has these bees, moo, who hummed around Radha and Krishna in attempt to excite their passions. But in tribute to the bees, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, the couple took turns looking into each other's eyes, and in this way tasted the honey of each other's love. The bees are there to get the passion going. But Vishwanath writes, no, because of their presence, the divine couple, in the same kind of, connection to bees, they looked into each other's eyes, and in this way tasted the honey of each other's love. Prabhupada summarized all of this in his Krishna book. Krishna book is a summary of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where the pastimes of the Lord with the Brajavasis is discussed. But Prabhupada presented in such a way that the Krishna book can be read even by children and appreciated. This highest knowledge, Braj Bhakti, a child can become enamored. And when we first got that Krishna book, we went to the ghettos, the black ghettos in Detroit, and we're distributing the Krishna book. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is the 10th canto. But it's said in the Shastra, in Bhagavatam, that one can overcome one's lusty desires by hearing the transcendental loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna. It's right there. Of course, as Prabhupada has presented it to us. That's very important. But Prabhupada writes in Krishna book, when the day comes that my disciples or my followers are experiencing vipralamba bhav, which is the highest state of love of God, separation from Krishna. Separation makes the heart grow fonder. So the love between the Brajabasis and Krishna, it's ad infinitum. There's no point where it stops or it slows down. It's growing, 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 ad infinitum. This is the spiritual world. This is waiting for us. If we keep to the straight and narrow and chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. And most importantly, in the mood of a Brajabasi like Prabhupada, distribute that nectar, preach Krishna consciousness. Prabodhananda Saraswati says in Chaitanya Chandamrita that by participating in the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one achieves the lotus feet of Radharani in Vrindavan. We don't have to go to Radhakund. We should go to Radhakund, but we go in a mood of great humility and bathe with great awe and reverence. But we're better off, on the streets of Mawulamba, chanting Hare Krishna, because that's where the mercy is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our advancement mainly comes from blessings. You go on Sankirtan, and that Gaur Shakti, that eternal potency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, works through you, and you deliver the people in your Prabhu Desh in your area. That's the road to Braj, through participating in the Sankirtan movement. So they're looking into each other's eyes, and Prabhupada said he said that when my disciples or followers reach the stage of Vipralamba, this book, Krishna book, will give them solace. So who says Prabhupada didn't give us everything? He said, when my followers reach the stage of Vipralamba Bhav, we have two purposes. We want to chant Hare Krishna and distribute the nectar. Prabhupada wanted us to preach, but he also wanted us to become pure devotees. Like Narottam Das Thakur is one of my heroes. What a preacher. But you read his Prem Bhakti Chandrika, his Prarthana, there's so much discussion about love of God there. So these are our heroes. And Prabhupada, I was present on several occasions when Prabhupada was preaching, and he came to tears. He came to tears. Not very often. He didn't want people to follow him for that. He wanted people to follow him for the knowledge he was giving. But like Jesus said, sometimes my cup runneth over with love. So we saw that in Prabhupada, that sometimes he manifested that Braj Bhakti, and that should be an inspiration for us. So they're looking into each other's eyes. It's quite deep, but we're allowed to hear it because it's there in Krishna book. And Krishna was holding Radharani's hand, and Cupid could see that their bodies radiated a pure and sublime goodness that was devoid of even the slightest trace of lust, passion, or ignorance. And still intent on proving Krishna wrong, Cupid then called upon a gentle breeze from the Malayan hills. Come on, I'm going to get this Krishna. I'm going to manifest some lusty desires in him. So Cupid had this breeze come from the Malayan hills, fragrant with what? Sandalwood? To excite Krishna. But Vishwanath describes that Radharani purified that breeze simply by her presence. It was a breeze to incite lusty desire, but Radharani's presence didn't work. She purified it by her presence. So, if that's the case, when we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're receiving Radharani's grace to be protected from all inauspiciousness, because she's present. She's the first person we call out to. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare is evocative of Hara, which means Radha. So we're depending on her. So anyway, in this way, by their pure love, Radha and Krishna neutralized Cupid's attacks. Just about right. Boom. No, not possible. So then Krishna took up his flute and started playing it. And when that sound entered Cupid's ears, it acted like a mystic mantra. Mystic mantra. When Krishna plays his flute, it appears in different ways, the vibration. Like we've seen the picture in the BBT of Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, all alone. Remember, he appeared on the lotus flower, went down into the Govardhana ocean, tapa, tapa, austerity, practiced austerity for 100,000 years by the calculation of the demigods. Krishna was pleased. And Krishna came and he played his flute. And you see the notes on the painting? Who did that painting? The notes are coming out and going into Brahma's ear. That's the Gayatri. Krishna played the flute and the Gayatri mantra came out. And by hearing Gayatri, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his commentary on Brahma Samhita says that by hearing that sound vibration of Krishna's flute, he understood he was an eternal maidservant of Krishna. Gopi. Well, I didn't catch that for a few years, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, you can read the purport he gives on Brahma Samhita. Brahma realized by hearing the flute of Krishna that he was an eternal maidservant of Krishna. And that's substantiated by the fact that most of the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who come under the wave, the tsunami wave of his mercy, to not go to Vaikuntha, but to go to the playground of God. Most of the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are interested in Manjari Bhav. But that's another lecture. So, as a last resort, because Radha and Krishna were just in, transcendental love. There was nothing, there was nothing like anything material. So he got really determined, Cupid, as a last resort. He shot an arrow at his sapphire target, Vishwanath said. Krishna is bluish black like a sapphire. But the arrow entered Krishna's body without any visible effect, like a pebble falling into a raging river. This is poetry. This is real poetry. Did it have any effect? No. Vishnu said it's like a pebble falling into a raging river. So then Cupid started shooting more and more. And as usually, they all disappeared in Krishna's body, leaving Cupid without any weapons, bewildered and humiliated. So then Cupid started thinking, hello, wake up. Perhaps the demigods were right about this person. And astonished by what was happening, Cupid just like, okay, let's figure this out. He started focusing very carefully on Krishna's transcendental form. He was meditating on Krishna's form. Like again, we come before the deity, Hare Krishna, bye-bye. No, you look how Radha is lying, her eyes, her mood, Krishna is bending, how the pujaris dress them so nicely. You spend time meditating like that, and what happens? You become Krishna conscious. So Cupid, he'd never had this opportunity. Who is this person? So he started meditating on Krishna's transcendental form. His eyes moving from Krishna's feet to his waist, to his toes. And as he continued gazing upon the beautiful form of Krishna, he became more and more captivated by his beauty. And that is the subject matter of today's class, Krishna's beauty. It's described that Krishna, in his Turivanga Sundara form, stood gracefully with his body bent in three places, playing his enchanting flute, his dark, curly hair cascading. Every word, right? Cascading. His hair's cascading onto his shoulders. His eyes extending almost to his ears, and he shone with divine brilliance, and his form was adorned with that Vaijayanti garland. And the aroma of Krishna's body overwhelmed Cupid. Krishna's body smells like what? A guru oil, musk, saffron, and camphor. Wow. One time in Vrindavan, I didn't have anything to do that day. So I read about that. So I got a guru, I got musk, I got saffron, and I got camphor, and I put it on my deities, and I said, please, excuse me. The perfection of the nose is to smell and I smelled this original flavor of Krishna. It was intoxicating. And Krishna was standing, there were bees buzzing around him and looking for nectar. So as Cupid continued to meditate on Krishna, he found himself overwhelmed with Krishna's beauty. A good lesson for us. And as a result, his arrows and his bow fell from his hands, and he realized Krishna had captured his heart. Please, Krishna, capture our heart as well. Allow us for the rest of the days of our lives to come before you every day and just gaze upon you, reawaken our love for you, and just, all our weapons in this world, how we try to enjoy it, and just let them drop, and we just, Krishna, I am yours! That'll be the perfection. So now, Cupid, he'd been conquered. That person who conquers the hearts of all beings was now conquered by what? Rupa Madhuri. The underlying theme today, Rupa Madhuri. He whose extraordinary beauty astonishes all moving and non-moving entities. So then Krishna ran towards Krishna. Cupid ran towards Krishna. Are we running towards Krishna? Okay, look back and look around. He ran, just like we read often in Vrindavan Mahimamrita. Prabhupada Saraswati says, run to Vrindavan. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to go, but run to the temple and gaze upon your deities. Run, don't walk, run. Krishna, this devotee is running to see me. They're very eager. Like when Mother Duck finds a piece of bread, soaked in some milk maybe, and she's got 12 little ducklings, and she doesn't know which one to give it to. They're quack, 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 quack. There's one little duck, quack, quack, quack. Yeah. So when you chant from the heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. So Cupidon, en français, Cupidon, he ran towards Krishna, fell at his feet and pleaded, please let me become your servant. So Krishna took pity on him and blessed him. And with that, Cupid fainted. And there's that spot where Cupid fainted is there in Vrindavan. We go sometimes on our Kartik Purikam. It's called Mohan. And from that day on, Krishna became known as Madan Mohan, the attractor of Cupid. That's where that term comes from. He's the attractor of Cupid. And when you go to Braj, you can go to Mohan and remember this pastime. So Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's actually only one Cupid in Vrindavan, and that's the Transcendental Lord. Vrindavane aprakrita navena Madan, kam Gayatri, kam Bhije, yanva upashan. In the spiritual realm of Vrindavan, Krishna is the spiritual, ever-fresh Cupid. He is worshipped by the chanting of the Kam Gayatri mantra with the spiritual seed, Klim. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. Thank you, Hare Krishna. He claps the loudest, he dances the fastest, and he relishes the prasadam the most. Give this young boy a big round of applause. So it's time for prasadam. This young lady listens very nicely, so I'm giving her my notes. Okay, Hare Krishna. Huh?